Facebook. How are you? Are you ready to learn to draw our faces? I hope so, because it was certainly a journey getting to you today to share this art lesson on how to draw a believe face. On the mic today is my husband, John.
Hi, guys.
He has been behind the scenes discovering that there's updates that have happened overnight.
There are updates
that had to change our plans. So if you came from the Big Art Quest Facebook group, that is a private group for the Big Art Quest About Face, and you made it here, congratulations. I know it was a journey. We wanted to be in there to do this broadcast, but we've learned that we can't. Mm-hmm. But we're still going to be in our private group sharing our artwork privately. You know, as planned, nothing else is changing. It just looks like we'll have to do these lessons, these drawing lessons, from this location. Then we'll share them in the group. They're all going to remain up online if you're at work or someplace and can't join us, you know, or be driving. Don't join us while you're driving. You know, be safe with your phone. Don't join us while you're wrestling tigers. You know, wait till later. There's always time for drawing later. So that's what's going on there. We're actually from the Big Art Quest group, but we're over here on the TheArtSherpa page because that's what has the publishing tools.
Yes. Is
what we learned. And I'm going to show you how to draw a believe face. A believe face. So a believe face is the basic face. There's two kinds of faces in art. There is this sort of symbolic, esoteric face that you learn to draw where you understand the basic proportions of the human face and shapes. And you put these, you know, features arranged together aesthetically and you create little narratives. And this gets very complicated. It sounds real simple, but actually this art world is very, very diverse. It generally represents artwork like this. And then, of course, there's representational, realistic faces. I believe that it's very hard for people to jump in to art without the believe face step. I think what happens for some people is during their art journey, as they're coming up, they kind of learn how to do this type of face. And then they get to art school, and then everyone in art school says, only draw what you see, only what you observe. And so you're in there just drawing what you observe, and you make that transition. But you have a belief in your head that it's possible because of this basic face. So these first quest faces that we're doing on YouTube, where I'm showing you how to do these paintings for the About Quest, are going to be based on that. When we get a good fundamental understanding of how those objects are laid out, and we've created some fun stuff that way, then we're going to start going into these more representational, realistic faces, but based on a foundation of, oh, I can draw it, I can paint it, I get it, understand how it's built, I got this. How's everybody doing today?
Oh my gosh, so good. I see a lot of our friends here. It's pretty good. We've got a pretty good turnout. We've got over 130 people here already. And I see lots of our good friends. I see Summer, and I see Connie and Paula and Terry. Lots of our friends are coming and hanging out with us to say. And I saw Mark Muir here earlier. Say hi to Mark and
Mark's
Michelle.
Like, you guys have got to figure out where you are on Facebook. I'm sure Mark was.
Yeah. And Angela and Deborah. It's Angela Green. Hi, Angela.
Hi, Angela Green.
So, and there's Donna. We have just such a big crew of people here, and there's just more and more piling in the page.
Thank you all for your patience. It's always entertaining.
Thank you for the likes and shares and the loves. I love all the loves.
So when we're drawing to all these lovely people, one of my favorite drawing tools, I've got this here, right? And I'm doing some sketches talking about features, right? Is tracing paper. Tracing paper is inexpensive, and it lets me do this cool thing. It lets me trace over it. So say I'm doing some drawing, some doodles. I'm working on my art skills, and I've got something I like really well. I don't like anything else on the page, but I've got that. One of the things that I can do is put the feature that I like underneath and go over that. I can save that. I can preserve that. So I keep tons of these around, and that allows me to design in a very relaxed space. And the key here, what I really want you to focus on, is your relaxed designing space. The other stuff we're going to focus on over here on the palette, we're going to talk about pencils, tools.
Ooh, pencils.
So everybody knows a number 2 pencil.
Yeah.
Right? This is from school. It's a, it's an HB. That's the hardness. There's a hardness scale of hard to soft. And I talked about a 2B pencil.
2B?
Or not 2B. That's a good start. My favorite is the 4B. But it's just a slightly softer, look, see how much darker it can lay down?
Yeah.
It's a softer lead.
That's a 2B?
That is a 4B.
4B.
The 2Bs, I have this little pencil pack here. It goes from F, which is super hard, and H, and hard, and 2H, and HB, and then all into the Bs, all the way to an 8B, which is going to be like butter. Like butter, John.
I see.
The harder a pencil, the sharper a point. I'm going to guess even by the point. Oop, I came close. It's a 3B. Sometimes I can tell by the point.
So they hold the point longer.
They'll hold, the harder they are, the harder they'll hold the point. But then they won't. Okay,
they're harder
gracious. Come out, pencils. These are inexpensive. You don't have to have the craziest tools in the world. And remember, some great art has been made on lined paper. There it is.
I have made a lot of lined paper art.
I have studio gnomes and fairies, and they take my erasers, especially my kneading eraser, which is probably I have to keep a stack of these around like a jar. So these are my little drawing tools, right? Here's my little 2B pencil. You can see that it's a little more substantial than, say, my HB, but it still holds kind of a nice point. So it gives me good medium ground, though I really am a big fan of this guy too. In my erasers come in this sort of kneading, silly putty kind of thing. This is nice because you can shape it and pick up very specific shapes off of your graphites or your charcoals. Then you have this kind, which is a low... So this is like art stroke. These are not expensive, but basically this doesn't leave a lot of those rubbings. And then, of course, there's this really satisfying one that leaves lots of rubbings.
The little rubber eraser that just pulls.
Yeah, this is really good for picking up frisket too, just so you know. Things that you have to worry about. So these are the basic tools. So and I'm going to come over here, and on my bigger paper, I'm going to work on my believe face and explain to you what you've got to believe.
To believe.
To believe in yourself. You gotta believe in yourself. This is, just to let you know what the sketch paper is that I'm using here.
What is it?
This is an 11 by 14 pad. Important information on your paper is the weight of it, 50 pound, right? And the tooth.
What does that mean?
So the tooth is how much like scratch or rubber or whatever is on the not rubber. How much scratch, how much rough surface is on the paper. So if it's this has a lot of tooth. See, it's all rough. This is called fine tooth surface. In other words, it's not very rough. Quality paper, Bristol's like a really fine surface, whereas like Arch's cold pressed watercolor paper has a lot of tooth. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to start my face. When you're doing a believe face, like we have for our girl in our painting, first... You say, I gotta believe.
I gotta believe.
Your biggest adversary here right now in this is you. Every preconceived idea you have, anything you've ever said to yourself negatively about drawing, I can tell you the truth is at some point in your art journey, somebody took your crayons away before your friend showed you a believe face, where you were like, oh, I believe I can draw. And so you just missed this step, and I can say that to you, but you've got to come a little bit. This is sort of like your leap of personal faith in yourself. So, and no, it doesn't have to be perfect the first time. You got to get real relaxed here. So pay attention. We're going to talk about this in the file in the Big Art Quest. Pay attention to your shoulders. Are they tense? Pay attention to your breathing. Is it shallow or not at all? I can't tell you how many artists hold their breath.
Oh, yeah.
And there's absolutely no aquatic element of painting, so that isn't helpful to you in any way.
You will not be submerged.
So breathing. That's why it's nice to have a beverage, a little cookie, a little something to help you find your space. So here I am. I've got my paper, and I'm going to do the first part of a believe face is an egg oval. You know, we all know an egg shape, right?
Yeah.
Little oval. Our faces can be round, they can be narrow. It's really up to you. And when you're sketching, I'm using light lines, and I'm adjusting as I go. This is why I love the tracing paper. Right? So when I have a shape that I feel like I like a lot, then I take my ruler, right? And, you know, just be okay with this. See how messy I am? You can be this messy. This is okay because we have tracing paper. We could do this all on our tracing pad, or we can sketch this out and then transfer what we like. Right?
Yeah.
Once I have this, I'll use my little T-square, but any ruler. You're going to come and you're going to do a horizontal line from your chin space to the top of your head. You're going to divide the face in half. These are your anchors. This is the beginning of the map. Right? This is your features line. Now I'm going to divide the face in half again. approximately in half. You don't have to be completely specific, but approximately in half. Right here, new artists draw their eyes.
Where at?
Right here. New artists always up in this space, up in this vector.
Why do they do that?
Well, because their left brain is saying, hey, this is a face. You know your face, right?
Yeah.
It gives you symbols of a face.
Yeah, there's a face.
And you're not really observing how much forehead we all have. Not just Tyra Banks, but all of us have a lot of forehead.
That's true.
Right? So you got to give yourself a supermodel forehead here when you're doing this. Now, another thing I tend to like to do is sometimes I like to kind of curve my line a little bit. Just a smidge. To remind myself that there's a curve here. And this is just something I will do like when I'm working. Just to go, oh yeah, this is a ball. Right? Essentially, this is an egg shape. Once I know where that is, then I know that I want a nose. My nose is going to be at the halfway point between my halfway line here and my chin here. That's where nose goes. Already it's looking more like a face. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, yeah.
It just immediately starts to say face. And then between the nose and the chin, at the halfway point again, I have a little mouth. Here's a chin. Here's a mouth. So once I know where that is, right? Once I've determined, come back in and work this. Then the next thing I'm going to do is create my column.
Run column?
Column. This is how the features line up on a face when a face is facing you. When you're being faced with your face, you must create a column. So I've got my little line here that I see, and I remember that my face is curved. Right? You just draw your little cross face. You can just do either. These are just fun, right? I need to make sure that in this space here, I don't put my eyes too close together. So I need about an eye's width of distance between my eye.
Is that where the column goes?
That's where my column is going to start lining up here. There's going to be little lines that tell me things. Now, my eye is on the above line. It's going to be kind of a half almond shape, isn't it? This is a base shape. And then I like to carry just a smidge past my horizon line, past my face horizon. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Now, for many of you, this is where your first groan is.
Oh, no.
Because you will make one eye bigger than the other eye.
Isn't that always the way?
That can always be the way.
How do we not do that?
Two ways you cannot do that. One way is if you determine how big you made this eye.
You're using a ruler. Isn't that cheating?
You could. No, you're definitely not cheating. Right? So you can be like, oh, it's about that big. And then just make sure that you're about that big over here.
So you just totally use a ruler.
Or you can use your tracing paper and flip it. Which is another trick I'm going to show you guys today.
Okay.
Today I'm going to show you some tricks to just get through this experience so you can start believing yourself.
Okay.
Carry your tear duct line just a little bit down. This is where your tear duct has to go so that your face can be soulful and weepy if they need to be. Or laughy. It depends. The under of the eye curves down. The eye shape curves down and back up again. Kind of see that there?
Yeah, I'm going to zoom in on that.
Going to do the same over here. Curve and down. Curve it down and back up again. So now I got a place for tear ducts, right? Lids, eyes, all kinds of things. My nose. I love my nose. The nose is built off of this big ball right here. And it's two little friends.
A ball of nose.
Three little balls. One big ball and two side little balls.
Perfect.
Okay. And then over the eyes, I need eyebrows.
Okay.
So I'm going to come up, right above the eyebrows, and I'm going to line things up. My eyebrows will line up with the outer balls of my nose. Believe it or not.
No.
Believe!
Rachel would like to say thank you.
Okay.
Because she always she echoed this. She says, I always feel like I'm cheating when I'm using tricks, like using a ruler or folding over the paper. So she really appreciates you saying that those are not cheating.
No.
Yeah.
No, the only thing in cheating in art is taking somebody else's art and pretending it's like your own, like Walter Keane. That would be cheating in art. He definitely cheated at art. You know what I mean? Leveraging other people so that you could pretend to be an artist would be cheating. Everything else is just your artwork. And that's not even inspiring. I mean, I'm saying like literally like what Walter did to Margaret. Totally cheating.
Yeah.
Right? Pretending that you're Rembrandt when you're not. Definitely cheating in art. But even at some point, we start to respect that guy too. So weird. So we want to line things up, right? So I've got my little eyebrows here coming in. The thing about eyebrows, right, is they have a nice little curve to them. They can have a lot of different shapes. The trick is you don't want to make them too heavy for the face.
The eyebrows too heavy?
Too heavy, too dark. You know, only when you're doing a Frida Kahlo inspired piece. Or, you know, if that's the truth of your eyebrows, then you want to definitely tell that truth. So see how things are starting to line up?
Yeah.
The eyebrow has lined up and this has sort of come together. It's interesting how it does it, right? Now, interestingly enough, the edges of the mouth will come here. And my mouth is what I do is I go a little ball and a big ball. I like my little ball and my big ball above my chin. And then I know I'm going to have a little smile coming out this way. So how I do this is I curve up and curve down. Little mountains curving down. And we're going to go into these individual features just a little bit more. I'm curve this up. And then I just sort of join this mouth down here.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see how these things are all lining up together. This column, this alignment, this mapping will help you find your space. Now on my nose, what's interesting is I'm going to come under the nose, curving up, down, around. See, I've just got this.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Maybe I just enforce this little bit shading there. Another interesting thing that I always like is that even though my nose is going to curve out to my eyebrow here, my nostril will curve in. And it helps me understand the structure of my nose a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so now I've got this. I know where my shadow is. My little nostrils here. I always like to flare them in a little bit. I have flared nostril, people.
Flared.
It's my thing. Enforcing that shadow. Wow, I made a lot of decisions. I got this nice little chin down here. And look, if you feel squished, you can always like increase your chin. Right? Here we go, here we go. I know where my eyebrows are. I have to have lids though. I'd like a blinking person. Right. And I really want to say this right now. It's really important to know. You will have, and not from a place of not good-heartedness, this is just a reality ingrained in you because you draw the faces that you see. You will have initially racial bias as you art.
Sure.
It's a thing. Doesn't mean anything bad. It just means we draw what we're familiar with. So if you're inclined to change the position of the lids because they don't look right or feel right to you, go with it.
Yeah, just it's okay.
It's totally okay. We're going to work out a tremendous, beautiful plethora of diversity in art when we get into observation. But right now we're drawing a symbolic face, and that's going to reflect your community, your family, and the person you see in the mirror all the time. And always be like really kind of okay with that.
Yeah.
Right? And also maybe just, I remember I went through that thing where it was everyone I drew looked like aliens.
Yeah.
You go through stuff, and that's got to be okay. We got to get okay with stuff in art. So now in my eye, you know, I'm going to have a nice little circle right dead. Here's my center line in my eye. I'm not giving her any particular experience. She's looking right out, man. She's breaking the fourth wall. And I'm drawing this in. I like to leave room for the lower lid here. And we're going to talk about the structure of these eyes more in a second. Right? And so I've got this here. So now I have all those things. The last thing you want to think about is ears. And I used to say this a different way, but I really love how Lisa Kehoe said it, which is that you got to have places to put your glasses.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Otherwise think about where glasses, right, need to be. That would be, they'd have to be right there to fit on her face, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
So start at the corner and then just loop down in. Now she's got nice glasses. Just a little bit out and tuck that in. Not a big deal. So you've even got those features. What's your tracing paper for? So I've done all this lovely work. I'm going to keep some of it, potentially. Right? So there we go. It's got to go like this. So I've got this hot mess drawing.
This hot mess. Why is it a hot mess?
Well, because it's all sketchy.
Well, it's all sketcherly.
It's all sketchily, but that might not be what I want when I'm trying to transfer this wonderfully thought out image onto another piece of paper.
You mean like your $50 piece of watercolor paper?
Like your $50 piece of watercolor paper, which is a real thing. So now I can very lightly go around, pick my favorite lines, pick my favorite shapes from this space. Right? I can go in and be like, oh, I like how the mouth was like this. Little, I always like to give a little mouth crease there. I think it just gives some personality.
A little person, yeah. I like it.
Now, I don't need my whole nose, but I do need the bottom of the nose. And a little bit here. Maybe a little bit there. I'll just sort of shade that under there. Oh, I've got my little nostrils happening. All right. I'm going to put in my eyes. Look at how easy that's starting to go in.
Now, we're going to leave this up on the
we're leaving it up.
This will be up here on Facebook, and if we have if we need to put it up on other places so you can get to it there as well, we will.
Yeah. We want you to be able to get to this.
Yeah. So we'll make sure we have it available.
And the group will have a file, a PDF about this.
Of course, you can always go to our website, TheArtSherpa.com, and there's going to be a link to the Big Art Quests, and all of those you'll be able to find there. So they'll always be findable from...
We're going to try to keep it, very findable and identifiable.
Yeah. You'll certainly findable from our webpage, and they should be up here on Facebook and in several other places as we can. So thank you all you Facebook people. We have like 260 people here just hanging out with us. It's really crazy.
Excellent.
There's more and more showing up all the time. I really wanted to say thank you to our community here because they've been giving us lots of little loves, the little hearts.
We're going to take this over here, but we're going to have a neater sketch.
And I like all the little heart shapes.
Look at the neater sketch.
Oh, you did that.
So I can sit there now that I have this neater sketch.
Neater,
more tidy.
It's not a neater.
It is, and then just make sure that I have lines how I want them.
Now,
I want to transfer it to some other image, like say I want to transfer it to my canvas.
Okay.
Right, I could work on this for hours. I could take this, right, and put this under another piece of tracing paper and refine this further.
And this is all okay. You can just, this is not, there's no cheating to this.
This is not cheating.
This
is not how cheating works. Putting your name on somebody else's painting, cheating.
But just using tracing paper as a tool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And actually, there's a thing to that. Like, I guess it's not cheating if you license it.
Yeah.
Right? That's not cheating because you acknowledge the artist and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's... Yeah, I think that there's a lot of things...
Just Walter Keane. We're just going to put him in the bad category.
Well, I think there's a lot of things that artists, they get told that tracing is bad and drawing from a paint, using a photo reference.
There's a bunch of artists that think you shouldn't use photo references. It's amazing to me the crazy stuff artists will say are not allowed.
And, there's a time and a place for
Didn't
everything.
I just have a ton of erasers right there? They're there.
There's
okay.
a pile of there.
I thought the gremlin got me already. So let me get these over here. Let's talk about a couple of structures.
All
First, let's talk about the nose.
The nose.
I need to give myself a big ball. And it needs a couple small ball friends. I will kind of sometimes angle my little eggs in a bit. But really, you're just talking about this and then following that line.
Okay.
And then I like to loop back for the nostril. Right? And shade that in. Now, we all know that under nose is a little divot. Divot, divot, divot. And very often, there's a bit of a shadow cast from that. And then this is, this is kind of a ball. And noses can be rounded. Noses can be pointy. These faces are just about expressing the relationship of features. As you become familiar with this basic belief face, You can play with the features and make the eyes bigger or smaller, make the nose smaller, more diminutive, make the mouth bigger. You can sketch looser. You can do a lot of things. You just got to get comfortable and seated in. I divide my oval in half. I divide my oval in half. This is where my features go. The lips.
The lips.
I like to do a little ball.
Oop. Go over there.
Right here. And then it needs to have a nice bigger ball as a friend. Lips are like inflated tires.
They are?
They are.
Why are they? Is this like...
Yeah, they're really round. They're rounder than people think. So just come underneath this ball. I curve up. I curve out. I curve up. I curve out. And we're going to go into just even features more as we need to. Now I'm going to go up. There's my little mountain. It curves in, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Let's give ourselves a little, I always like to get a little dimple. These are idealized weird little lips. Right? And then I'm going to come down here. But you can see that it gets real easy.
Oh, wow, yeah. You just...
To do them once you know. Right? Once you know, once you know. So those features are not hard to do. The eye.
In no time, you could be the cover of
Right?
a Yes Mac.
Is like this. It's this little curve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a little bow. Give room for the tear duct. Curving out. I curve up from the tear duct and out. Eyes have to have some stuff here. They need a little tear duct space. Right there. I like to go ahead and include the little lid line underneath here. When I put the iris in, right, like I did right here,
Mm-hmm.
when I put that in, I'm going to put in the pupil. Shade that in, right under here. I like to make my pupils a little bit bigger. That's a thing I tend to do. This will generally have some type of shadow because the lid over head is generally casting a shadow. See the shadow?
I do.
It's an important element when you're drawing faces. Right, shade that in. But I need some light reflection there. This is all a ball inside the socket. So you've got to shade it in the same way you'd shade a ball, and you're going to have a lid with a crease. Could be deep, could be shallow. Right? Lashes are a flick, flick, flick. I really like to make sure that they're shorter here and longer as they come out. Okay? They're going to flick out the other way and then kind of curve down. Kind of bow out. And also get shorter. A lot of times when you're doing realistic, as they get right on you, they'll kind of even sometimes change direction a little bit and curve out that way. See, that's a weird little thing that they do. Eyebrows. Sketch them in lightly. Right? Here I'm going to do this one more of an arc brow. And then you're going to taper those strokes as you get here. You're not going to really take it much past those spaces. Here's your eyebrow. If you're in makeup, a lot of times these will become easier for you, but if you're not, you can still pick them up. And we're only talking about female faces here right now, too. We haven't even gotten to the guy faces, where things are squared out more, but they'll still be in their, column. They'll still be in their relationships. So when we're doing her, let's go back to her. Suddenly how she was built makes a lot more sense, doesn't it?
Ah, yes. It does. It's
Right.
much more visible.
Then we add things like interesting hair and maybe unusual color. We're going to be, the other thing that these faces are going to teach us, and we're going to do these for just a little bit so that we get this down. Because when we learn to batch mix her skin tones, right, that's going to help us when we get to realistic faces too. She is the basis of us getting to realism. When we master her and her friends, then when we take on a more structural piece where we're just observing light and shadow, our brain is going to be relaxed enough and in a state of belief enough that it will get out of our way and let us to see the nostril as we're seeing it. So we're going to work on profiles. We're going to work on 3/4. We're going to work on looking up, looking down, surprised expression, angry expression, diversity of age, gender, and race.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole thing that happens in the face. Like when kids are young, everything is all shortened up. I age up all my kids. It's like totally my struggle. Give me any kid to do a portrait of, and I add like 2 years.
So we've had, I'm going to tell you, we've had this huge group of people who've joined us today. We've had a huge number, all these shares and likes and the little happy faces, and I love them, and thank you guys. It's just been so, don't forget to hit more, because this is going to be going on.
Yeah, this is ongoing, and you have a mini quest for this.
Yes.
Which is to do little, like a couple inches, little believe faces. Just a bunch of them.
Okay.
Your trick for this, when you're doing this, fill up a page. Just practice this thing. Make your face, divide it in half, put an eye. Is to stay relaxed throughout the process.
Okay.
Don't get tense about it. And if you feel you're being tense, and this is going to be in our PDF, pay attention to where that feeling's coming from. What internal narrative is happening that's causing you anxiety? Because you are drawing. Whereas kids know, I'm going to draw now to relax. I'm going to doodle now to relax. Sometimes as adults, all of our adult junk gets jumbled up in our relaxed time. So just pay attention to what, you might be saying to yourself, and then if you find yourself just really in tension, just like specifically relax your shoulders, breathe in deep, and just remember, this is just the fundamentals of art. It's just fun. Nobody's going to come in and grade it. In the Big Art Quest group.
Yes.
Here's why there's restricted posting.
Okay, let's go.
All right. So in there, you'll have noticed there's a file about what you can post. And it's supposed to be for the Big Art Quest. And really specifically about like your original work relating to the Big Art Quest. You can do 2016 or this year.
No, that's because we're all questing together.
We're all questing together. And I need to see your stuff.
And this is where we do it.
Yeah, I need to be able to see your faces as you're doing them. I need to be able to go through there and get through it. So there's the ArtSherpa official. If you have other tutorials that I've ever done that you really loved, there's here right now in the fan page. Just post whatever you like on the fan page.
Yeah.
In the group, the ArtSherpa official group, post tutorials and your original paintings. But Big Art Quest, try to keep it to this journey and last year's journey so I'm seeing what you're doing. It's the only reason that I'm restricting the posting.
Yeah.
Is I just need to be able to see what you're doing so I have a chance to, like, if I'm not hitting something, if I'm not explaining something, you guys will think it's you, but I'll be like, oh, it's me. And I'll see it, and I'll be like, oh, I got to go over that again.
And, of course, all that stuff's findable there. At the ArtSherpa. Oh, you can find it all at TheArtSherpa.com. You can find all that stuff referencing back. We've got little links to everything.
Yeah, links to everything. So you're like, oh, there's so many places to go to see you.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's TheArtSherpa.com.
Yeah.
For that sharing experience, we have the Big Art Quest About Face on Facebook.
Yes.
For the sharing experience, we also have the ArtSherpa official Facebook group.
Yes.
And we have here. And then at TheArtSherpa.com, also just... We have bot storage to just upload what you like. There have been people that in the ArtSherpa official uploaded 187 pictures.
Oh yeah, you can just upload as much as you want onto onto our website, TheArtSherpa.com. You have a huge space out there. The chat's going. We've got all sorts of games and fun stuff for you guys to come and play with us.
So we do want to see, and it can be stuff from other tutorials and stuff like that. It doesn't just have to be this. That's about your whole art journey. We just want to see whatever you've got going on in your art journey. Big Art Quest.
Yep.
Try to keep it to the quest and original work related to the quest.
Yes.
Only because I just want to see what you're working on. Does that make sense?
It does.
Do we have any questions before we go anywhere?
Everyone just wants to say how much they appreciate and they love seeing this go on. They really love that we're doing this face quest together and that we're doing it here on Facebook. And they love your hat. They think the hat looks so cute today.
I thought it was the kitty
It is
thingy,
the kitty thing. And they love the pin on the hat.
Yeah. Well, you know.
So
there are times it feels like tribute, doesn't it, when you're drawing? You're like...
We're going to leave this up here on Facebook so people can get them
this is going to stay up, these drawing, and we're going to keep visiting this. We'll go back and visit noses again. We'll go back and visit eyes again. We'll go back and visit lips again. We're going to visit shading and how we shade it and how we find lighting while we're doing these very safe believe faces.
Yes.
And we're going to learn how to rock these out.
Yes.
You're going to be dropping these in all the face groups. There's so many face groups. You're going to have so much use for this socially. You're going to be like, I can face here, and I can face there, and I'm going to face this and face that, and you're going to feel really confident wherever you're going, wherever you're sharing. So we're going to cover these. This is tomorrow on YouTube.
Tomorrow on YouTube.
This is tomorrow on YouTube that we're painting that.
Woohoo!
So we're going to paint that. And yes, there will be a traceable. If you're not ready to jump in and sketch on your canvas, don't worry. We're going to do a traceable. Because the tracing's not cheating.
No.
And drawing is a skill that we're learning, we're developing over time. The file PDF is going up in the group and on the website later today.
So,
am I explaining anything?
Yeah, you're totally. We'll have
Sometimes
a
I feel like I have this plan, I have these big ideas of sharing art or sharing art information, and I'm like,
Look.
and then we're in it, and the tech is crazy, and the stuff is crazy.
That's okay, because this is just this is the first one, and we're going to be doing more.
I'm going to say this again.
Okay.
I'm going to come over to the palette cam.
Okay.
Holding your pencil
Okay.
can be very challenging.
Last minute tip.
Yes. Do not cramp up your hand.
This is why you stay to the end, folks.
Don't get back here. Be very, very relaxed. If you're having pain in your hands, shaking in your hands, tremors in your hands, anything with your hands, there are a plethora of pencil grips, usually at the school supply store.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Right? But there's rubberized ones. There's all of that. You can put them on. Ensure your comfort.
Mm-hmm.
Be comfortable when you're drawing. Don't let that tighten up your back, tighten up your neck, tighten up anything. You want to keep those shoulders rolled. Everyone's like, how do you do this all the day, all the time? I keep these shoulders rolled out.
Yeah.
Keep it loose, man.
Man,
Loosey-goosey. So
this is
that's
so
just my
awesome.
tip to you, because I remember we'd be in art school, we'd be like all tightened up, we'd be like this. I'm going to draw this thing. And the teacher would come by, whack.
And you see the bottom of your hands all covered with graphite. There it is.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. When I was in charcoal, because I love charcoal. Remember, you dated me in my charcoal phase.
You're just like charcoal everywhere.
It was like he was like dating a chimney sweep. I swear. There's pictures. Just covered in graphite. All right. So be beautiful to yourselves. Believe in yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Fill up those pages. Doodle up some believe faces. Just fill them up. Fill them up until you believe that you can at least just kind of do this structural face. It doesn't happen in the first face. It'll happen somewhere between now and an unknown number of faces where your brain will stop giving you grief and go, okay, I'll let you face it.
Mm-hmm.
Did we do good?
Oh, we did great. I believe you guys can draw. I look forward to seeing you again soon.
See you tomorrow on YouTube painting this. Love you. Bye-bye.